Hello everyone, my name is Clarita. I'm from 11 IPA, and today we'll be discussing about chemical reactions. But first, what is a chemical reaction? A chemical reaction is what happens when two or more substances react to form a new substance. We can write it as A plus B will give you AB, in which A and B serve as the reactants, while AB serve as the product. But before we proceed to what is the chemical reactions, let us know what some symbols represent. I have compiled a few symbols over here. So when you see a plus sign, it means plus or when reacts with or and. With an arrow, it means yields or forming. An arrow with a triangle on top means when heated yields or when heated forms. A triangle with the word elect means when electricity is applied or when undergoing electrolysis yields. An arrow to the right and arrow to the left means when partially ionized yields. And if you encountered a bracket with letter or letters, it means what state of matter is the substance or element is in. So if you meet a bracket with a small s, it means it is in solid form or powdered form. A bracket with a small l means liquid form. A bracket with a small g means gas form. And a bracket with a q means aqueous. That means the diluted form. Diluted form is when the substance is already mixed with water beforehand. Now, to further make myself clear, I have given you example. The first example here is Al plus O2 bracket G arrow Al2O3. We can read this simply as aluminium when reacts with oxygen gas yields aluminium oxide. But if we look at it, it looks a little bit weird, and that's because the equation is not yet balanced. So, a tip for you guys is to remember to balance every equation first, so it will be much easier later on. Now, how do we balance it? And this is what I usually did. So, let's see the right side first. We know the right side is Al2O3. Now, Al2, that means the right has 2 Al while the left is only 1. So, in order to balance it, we need to times 2 on the left. So now this is 2 Al. So 2 Al, balance. But if we proceed to the oxygen, the right is 3 while the left is 2. Now, 3 and 2 is not the same number, but we can find the common number between these two, which is 6. So in order to make this into 6, we times 2 and this one times 3. So we can put the 2 in front, so 2Al2O3, and the 3 here will be 3O2. But let's inspect it again. Now, since if we add a coefficient 2 over here and it's already 2, so 2 times 2 it would give you 4. So for it to be balanced, you need to write 4Al over here. So now let's check. 4Al on the left, 2 times Al2, so 2 times 2 is 4Al on the right, balance. There's 3 times 2 means 6, there's 6 oxygen. Well, this one 3 times 2 also 6. So this equation is already balanced. Now we can say this equation as 4 moles of aluminium when reacts with 3 moles of oxygen gas yields 2 moles of aluminium oxide. But why do we need to balance the chemical equation? This is because we have to satisfy the law of conservation of matter, in which it states that matter cannot be degraded or destroyed. Next, we would have the law of conversion of mass, in which every chemical reactions, the mass of reactants and the mass of the product must conserve. So, mass of the react is equal to the mass of the product. Now, let's use the previous example. So 4Al plus 3O2 gas is equal to 2Al2O3. So you can use your periodic table for this. we know that AR for AL is 27 times the coefficient of 4 times 27 plus AR for O is 16, so 16 times 2, and then we have the coefficient 3 times 3 again is equal to, same on the right, 2 equation bracket, and then we know AR is 27 times 2 plus 16 times 3. So if you input this in your calculator, the left should be 204 and the right should also be 204. If they are not the same, then there might be something wrong with your calculation, so you might recheck that again. Now let's proceed to the general type of chemical reactions. The first, we have direct combination or synthesis. We have A plus B yields AB. For example, Ba plus N2 yields Ba3N2 or barium nitride, and Na plus O2 yields Na2 or sodium oxide. Next, we have the decomposition reaction or analysis. AB yields A plus B. For example, NH3 yields N2 plus H2. Next, we have the single replacement. But single replacement can be divided into two. If the A is a metal, then the formula would be A plus B yields AB. But if the A is a halogen, that means A plus BC yields BA plus C. Now, to further simplify or to make it more easier, we have this table over here. This is the reactivity series of metals and halogens. Now, they are arranged from the strongest to the weakest in terms of reactions. And don't worry, this would be provided in the test, so you don't need to remember it. And the example for single replacement is Ba plus Na3N yields Ba3N2 plus Na. Now we know Ba is a metal, so this is based on the metal one. So A plus B, we got AB. And we have Cl2 plus AlBr3 yields AlCl3 plus Br2. Cl is part of the halogen here, that's why this is based on the halogens. Now, Ba plus Li3N yields Nr. What's Nr? Nr is no reactions. Now, why is it no reactions? If we go back again, Ba plus Li, right? We know that Ba is weaker than Li. That's why this reaction will not occur, because the in front should be much more stronger than what's behind. So if the front here is already weaker than the back, it's safe to say there's no reaction for it. The fourth, we have double displacement or metathesis. We have AB plus CD yields AD plus CB. For example, we have H3N plus BaOH2 yields H2O plus Ba3N2. Now let's proceed with the more specific type of chemical reactions. The first, we have the direct combination reactions. The first one is combination of a metal with an oxygen. For example, metal plus oxygen will give you metallic oxide. For Na plus O2 yields 2Na2O. The second one, we have combination of a non-metal with oxygen. So when non-metal meets an oxygen, it will give you non-metallic oxide. So C plus O2 yields CO2. Next, we have combination of a metal and a non-metal. So metal plus non-metal will give you ionic compound. For example, 2K plus Cl2 yields 2KCl. Next, we have the direct combination of a metal and a non-metal and a non-metal. I'm sorry, typo here. So when a non-metal meets another non-metal, it would give you covalent or molecular compound. So 3N2 plus H2 will yield 2NH3. Next, we have combination of an element with a compound. So element plus compound will give you a new compound. For example, 2O2 plus CO yields 2CO2. 6, we have the combination of two compounds. So compound 1, compound 2 would give you a new compound. For example, K2O plus H2O would give you or yield 2KOH. Next, the second specific type, we have decomposition reactions. The first one, we have the decomposition of a metallic oxide. So when a metallic oxide, when it's heated, it will yield a metal plus an oxide. So 2MgO when heated will yield 2Mg plus O2. The second, we have decomposition of a non-metallic oxide. When a non-metallic oxide is heated, it would yield a non-metal plus an oxygen. So 2NO when heated will yield 2N2 plus O2. The third, we have the decomposition of an ionic compound. So when an ionic compound is heated, it will give or yield metal plus a non-metal. For example, Ba3N2 when heated will yield 3Ba plus N2. Fourth, we have the decomposition of a covalent or a molecular compound. When a covalent compound is heated, it will yield a non-metal plus another non-metal. For example, 2PCl5 when heated yields 2P plus 5Cl5. Next, we have the decomposition of a chloride. A chloride when heated will yield metallic chloride plus oxygen. For example, 2KClO3 when heated yields 2KCl plus 3O2. 6. We have the decomposition of a carbonate. A carbonate when heated yields a metallic oxide plus a carbon dioxide. For example, CaCO3 when heated yields CaO plus CO2. Next, we have the decomposition of a bicarbonate. Bicarbonate when heated yields carbon plus water plus carbon dioxide. For example, KHCO3 when heated yields 2K2CO3 plus CO2. Next and the last, we have the decomposition of hydrates. When hydrated salt is heated, it will yield an hydrous salt. For example, CuSO4 times 5H2O will yield CuSO4 plus H2O. The third type is the single replacement. The first one, we have the replacement of a metal by methyl. So when methyl 1 plus compound 1 will yield compound 2 plus metal 2. For example, 2K plus CaCl2 will yield 2KCl plus Ca. Next, we also have Al plus Na-NO3 yields Nr. Now, this one is specifically for single replacement. So again, this is what happens when it is in water by steam and by acid. And this one is halogens. This is also arranged from the strongest to the weakest. The second one, replacement of hydrogen from water. Now, when metal plus water, it will yield a metallic hydroxide plus a hydrogen gas. Now, if we see from 4, K plus H2O in liquid yields 2KOH plus H2 in gas. Now we know that K is in the water, so it's correct. While Zn plus H2 liquid have no reactions. That is because it is not in this part, so it is actually in steam, so it would not have a reaction. Now the third, we have replacement of hydrogen from steam. So metal plus steam yields metallic oxide plus hydrogen gas. So for example, we have Mg plus H2O in gas form yields MgO plus H2 in gas form. Mg, see Mg here, so it works. Well, Ni plus H2O gas has no reaction. That is because Ni is the acid and not steam. Next, we have replacement of hydrogen from acid. So when metal plus acid yields salt and hydrogen gas. For example, we have 2Al plus 6HCl aqueous form yields 2AlCl3 plus 3H2 in gas form, while Cu plus HCl in aqueous form yields nothing, no reaction at all. That is because Cu is not an acid, so it would not happen. The fifth, and we have replacement of halogen by a halogen. So when halogen 1 plus compound 1 yields another compound 2 plus halogen 2. So Cl2 plus NaBr yields NaCl plus Br2. Last, we have the double displacement. First, we have displacement of a compound by another compound. So compound 1 plus compound 2 yields compound 3 plus compound 4. For example, Al2SO4 3 plus NaOH yields AlOH3 plus Na2SO4. So compound the front will match with the most that one, while the middle would match with each other, so, for easier reference. Next, we have the neutralization reaction when acid plus a base yields salt and water. For example, 2HL aqueous plus BaOH2 yields a BaCl2 plus 2H2O. The third, we have combustion. Combustion can be categorized into two. The first one is when organic compound plus oxygen gas yields CO2, carbon dioxide plus H2O or water. This is a complete combustion, so it would give you carbon dioxide. But when organic compound plus oxygen gas yields CO plus H2O, it means it's incomplete combustion. That means instead of carbon dioxide, it gives you carbon monoxide. For example, 2C2H6 plus 7O2 yields 4CO2 plus 6H2O. Now, that's all for the lessons about chemical reactions. I hope you guys understand. If I have stuttered or mispronounced something, I'm sincerely sorry. And if you have further questions, my DM or private messages are open anytime. You can ask me directly, or you can ask me now if you wish to. And if there's no question, the lesson ends here. So have a good day, everyone. Bye bye.